Hi guys, back with another video for you today from London. I'm at the Experimental Perfume Club store in London in Covent Garden. I've got Emmanuelle here who founded Experimental Perfume Club. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much.
So I have had a difficult time understanding your brand. So when I ran into you at Exxon's, I said, let's meet up in London since I will be there. It's not easy to really embrace the brand at a perfume show when there's constantly people coming and interrupting. So here I am in their store and I really want to understand how your brand works. But before we get into the brand, how did you start this brand? How come you're in London when you're French? All of that stuff. So tell me in a few sentences, how did it all get started?
The background of EPC. So I started EPC as an idea of a concept of creating personalized perfume or bespoke perfumery, but for the general public. So you know, obviously there are the bespoke, true bespoke in terms of like, the Guerlain, etc. Cost like 30,000 euros plus, etc. Super, super expensive. And the idea was to really kind of democratize that. So originally I started with workshops, with long form workshops, which are really educational. And this is what EPC was known for the first few years in London. So I would teach people how to create fragrances from scratch, and it would be really through the teaching element of it. And then a couple of years after starting those workshops, I created this concept around blendable perfumes. So that was born from the idea of giving the choice of personalization and customization in the end of people.
Okay, so you started the classes in what year?
It was now 2016.
Okay, so
8 years ago.
8 years ago, almost. Yeah. So, and then the brand started
in 2018. The brand started. It was such a baby. I started with Liberty. They took on my 3 perfumes, which I created.
So Liberty London, the store.
Yeah, Liberty London. They stocked us exclusively. Originally, we didn't have a store. It was very much, we knocked at the door at Liberty, and then we went to Harvey Nichols, and then we went to Selfridges, and I built the brand little by little. But what I presented to Liberty originally was very much of like a baby concept of 3 perfumes, which I've created to wear alone or blend together. And it started the whole saga of what EPC has now become.
Okay. Wow. I did not know you had those successes early on.
Early on, yes. Yeah.
So were the classes being held here or somewhere else?
So the classes originally, we had a tiny studio not tiny actually, quite a medium-sized studio in Hackney in East London, the cool area of London. And it was it was not a shop. So it was very much of, like the style, like creative studio kind of style, Yeah.
All right. So now fast forward to 2025.
Yes,
and I've been hearing a lot about your fragrances, and I actually smelled some stuff at the show at Exxon's here a couple of weeks ago and enjoyed something I think one of your latest creations, something with pistachio.
Yeah.
But you mentioned this was created by combining several fragrances, which I think are here, right?
Exactly. So ultimately, the way the concept works is not that complicated. It needs a little bit of explanation, but in a few seconds, you can understand the concept. You've got the essentials. The essentials, we've got 9, okay? I brought one of each categories here so that you can see.
So they're called the essentials because they're the starting points, kind of?
Exactly. They are minimalists. Minimalist niche. Kind of think of, straight to the point formula. There aren't that many ingredients. They're very, very focused into a few ingredients and very, very strongly DNA.
Okay.
And we've got 9 of them, and they are categorized into 3 styles: the fresh, the mellow, and then the deep. And you can see the color: yellow, pink, and blue.
Yeah.
So you got 9 in total, so 3 of each. So I brought these little 3 to Liberty when I started my baby concept.
So these were the originals.
So these are actually the last 3. The one that I've launched a year and a half ago. But I brought the bergamot, the jasmine, and the sandalwood musk to Liberty with the concept of this little box. So when you blend these of one of each category. So there are 9 in total. Three yellow, 3 pink, and 3 blue.
Will these be like a top notes, heart notes, base notes? Is that how they're?
That's more or less the kind of like idea of the triangle.
Okay.
But bear in mind that these are wearable perfumes.
Yeah, so they wear them on their own. Exactly. You can buy these individually.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's like, they are on par with those minimalist niche that you find from other brands, right? They're like really finished, elevated, high quality ingredients. So they're not, I don't like call them bases, or chords. They're not, it's not that. They were actual finished perfume. And in the idea of like triangle, they top, yes, but they also have a little bit of base. It's just that the balance of the overall formula is more towards the top. It's more towards the freshness.
I see. Okay, right? Makes total sense now.
So now when you start blending different proportions of one of each category of your choice, so we're kind of like dig into a little bit deeper. I can show you the book, I can show you the formula, etc. You can create then blends, right? So these are the one that we are editing, so the one that are existing already pre-packaged.
So these darker bottles means that you've taken 3 of the 9
or 3.
Okay, because 2 or 3.
You need a minimum of 2, obviously a maximum of 3, right? Okay. Because this is the kind of the whole concept of the pyramid. 2 or 3, and then we test different ratios, and we kind of like essentially edit some of the best formula that we think works the best.
So you're actually releasing fragrances from your 9 original bases? Is that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the pistachio.
The pistachio is,
which I fell in love with because it's so deliciously gourmand.
Is gourmand, but it has a green note because pistachio is tonka sesame with a yellow, which is the fig neroli. Fig neroli has got lots of obviously fig leaf, petit grain, basil, and a lot of vetiver that creates that kind of like earthiness. So if you mix a gourmand tonka sesame, which is very nutty, with that kind of rootiness of the fig and the vetiver, you will get a pistachio, which we called haiku, because haiku create like that poem, is the Japanese poem of like nature.
So this is kind of like an open formula. Is that correct?
I mean, yes, it's kind of like a consumer-friendly kind of concept to personalize, blend, experiment, have fun.
Okay.
Obviously, we have our edited formula, which we obviously edit. So every year we launch, pre-pack one formula. This was the case of Pistachio Haiku last year. The following year we had Smell Like a King. And then each year, and then this year we're going to launch a new one. Yeah. So each year we edit, and then here in the store or in the form of event, because we do bring EPC on tour, we do bring what we call the Perfumers Reserve. And the Perfumers Reserve is like, have fun. We've got lots of formulas for you to play with. So here we've got 36 formula.
So these are all different formulas that are from the 9.
Exactly. That are very exclusive. You can only find them here at the moment in London. So you've got the Cashmere Rice, for instance, which is a cardamom, the tonka. You've got Velvet Lemonade, which is the bergamot incense and the tonka, and so on and so on. And so at the end of that little book, for instance, you will have all of the formula based on one essentials. So you've got the tonka sesame, and you've got a recap of all of the formula based on the essentials.
So these formulas are ready to go, but it's not the end. You can come up with more in addition to these, I'm assuming.
Exactly. You literally, I mean, that's the beauty of the concept. It's thousands and thousands of possible combination based on the ratio. Obviously, we're not going to showcase all of those.
Yeah.
So this is where it comes from.
So also, what kind of an investment are we talking about if we wanted to buy all 9?
All 9. So here we are talking more about accretion sets. If you really want to play at home and not necessarily go with the ready-made, so we call them the ready to wear, and then the made to order. So we've got kind of 2 kind of separate level to the brand.
Yeah.
So the ready wear, we're talking here between $150 to $195 to the kind of like the lowest.
So these ones that you can mix with blend with are
so at the $150.
$150, but finished it's $190.
is between, so it depends on the collection.
Oh,
because you've
okay.
got the extract, which are the pistachio, like the black.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's the difference between the all black bottle?
The all black bottles. So the all black with the white labels, we used to call them like the signature blends, and they are more the kind of, not, I don't want to call them crowd pleaser, but they're a little bit like the easier. These ones are very intense connoisseur, so they call them the extracts.
So what kind of concentration are we looking at for these?
So all of our fragrances are between 20 and 25%.
Okay.
So we're like...
Even these bases are pretty highly concentrated.
Pretty highly concentrated.
So that's why you can wear them on their own.
Exactly. And as I say, finished formula, I mean, Tonka Sesame is one of our best sellers, as in on its own. Sandalwood Musk, also very minimalist wood, also bestseller. We've got the cardamom moss that people really like as well on its own. So it's not, these perfumes are really on par with, like if you think of like a Matière Première or other kind of brands that have like this kind of straightforward, straight to the point kind of signature.
Yeah.
These would be the essentials.
I see.
Yeah.
So you have 9 of these. How often do you release these bases?
These ones, not so often, actually, because obviously you can have so much fun afterwards with this. But I released the first one in 2018. The second collection was around 2021.
So when you said the first one, you mean one of them or 3?
The three. Always 3 together. So we always come as a triptych.
I see.
The fresh, the mellow, and the more deep.
So you'll eventually have 12. You'll release 3 more together.
And I should start. I've already started in my mind.
Okay.
It takes a long time to release the trio collection because not only they need to work individually, but they also need to work in combination with everything else.
I see. So if I was to try and recreate your pistachio haiku, which 3 do I need again?
So the pistachio haiku, you'll have so in our formula book, you'll find it. Here we go. So the pistachio haiku, it will be made of the fig neroli and the tonka sesame in 50-50% proportion.
So that's fairly easy.
It's super easy.
So going back to this kit.
Yeah. Ooh. So this kit is at home. So
how much does a kit cost?
So the kit is going to be at $125.
Okay. And you've got countless things you can create with it.
So it's almost like the perfect kit for the perfume lover, if you think about it, because you've got 3 finished perfume in 3 different styles. Okay, so if you want to experiment,
that's why it's called Experimental Perfume Club. You're experimenting constantly.
You're constantly experimenting. So, you've got your fresh style, your mellow, and your deep style, and then obviously the last bottles, which have the measurement.
Okay.
And then you can kind of create and make it.
So is this bottle for you to actually use?
Yes, exactly.
So you don't pour that out into another bottle after you measure?
No. So we kind of really try to give all of the tools that people need to play at home, essentially. So typically you will put, it's all of these are sprays. So all of these
you can just spray it in there.
Yes, exactly. So they are like, these perfumes exist as they are individually, like the travel size. And then you have your little anti-bottle. And obviously, depending on what you've chosen, you've got your little leaflet that explains how it works. You've got QR code videos, etc., on how to use. And then you've got your little pipette. So you're going to open it.
Okay. You can either use the pipette or spray it.
Exactly. So the spray is for your personal use. It's like if you fancy just, using it on its own. But then obviously the pipette is like if you want to start getting blending. So
okay.
Yeah,
that sounds fun.
It's fun.
You can experiment, come up with countless different perfumes.
Yeah.
So this kit is how much again? 165 you said?
125.
125. So that's pretty good. What sizes are these bottles?
So it's 10 mils. So you've got 30 mils of perfume and 1 obviously and new bottles, which you can refill 3 times ultimately.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do some smelling right now. So what do you want me to smell?
Right. So we're going to start with the essentials, of course. I would like you to discover their style and how they are built. So we're going to start with the fresh one. So the cardamom moss, the yellow.
You know, you didn't answer how come in London, since you're French.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, you
Do you
should
want
tell
to?
us.
Yeah. Why I'm here? Do you want me to spray or do you want me to dip it?
Spray's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to spray in your face.
No worries.
I mean, you're
I like
probably
the smell
used
of
to.
perfume.
You're probably used to spray. Right. Okay.
So this is very fresh.
Yes, exactly. So that's the point of those kind of yellow style. Yeah. The
So it's neroli and cardamom?
is cardamom moss.
Oh, cardamom moss.
So it's a spicy fresh.
Wow.
So this one,
I'm assuming it has some citruses in there, right?
so the citruses will come from the spices because there is ginger in that.
Mm.
So there is no citrus as in like citrusy note, but there is so many. So there is turmeric, there is ginger, there is cardamom.
There's a very invigorating freshness there.
There is elemi. So there's really kind of that kind of. I think when you say citrusy is not far because it's really that kind of fresh spice. It's super, super fresh spice.
Very fresh. I like this.
And underneath, you've got that white moss.
Mm.
So it creates really that kind of long-lasting, deep, mossy, almost powdery effect.
Yeah.
So it will be really long-lasting through the moss.
So this is concentrated at 20%?
So it depends on the each, but there will be always between 20 and 25%.
Okay.
So that's the bracket.
That earlier, yeah.
So that's the bracket.
So this is the cardamom moss, and now we're smelling.
Interesting. Well, let me dip this. The tonka sesame. There we go.
Ooh. Now this is very nutty.
Yes.
That's yummy.
Yes. But so I didn't want to do a gourmand that is your typical gourmand. I didn't want to have vanilla, caramel. So I created a gourmand that is purely around like a bunch of nuts. So you have the almond, you have the hazelnut.
It's a bit marzipan-y.
Exactly. And you have sesame, absolute from LMR as well, which is really, really nutty as well. It's got that kind of almost like rice feeling as well.
Mm-hmm. It's super delicious. Yeah, this is finished. You can wear this.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's not heavy and cloying. It's just the right amount.
And it's really balanced with a cedar wood that doesn't make it cloying.
Mm.
Yeah. And the last one from the base category. So the base category being obviously the deeper, warmer note. So we've got the cedarwood accent. Okay.
There's a kind of a minty quality, like a bit camphor. Is that from the absinthe?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very aromatic and spicy, but also woody. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So this one is like our fresh leather. So it really has an overdose of cypriol that create that kind of oud. You know, like cypriol is really that kind of. Some people label it as a oudy scent, but it's not oud. Huh? It just brings that aromatic leatheriness a little bit.
Okay.
So it has a lot of this. It's quite boozy as well. So it really smells like that whiskey note. And of course, it's got that warm wood, so absinthe.
Yeah, there's a major booziness here.
Exactly.
But you're almost smelling like the barrel of the booze that's been maturing.
Exactly.
Yeah, aging.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I like to summarize it as a fresh leather or fresh oud.
Yeah.
You know, like that in that kind of style. And so when you start blending them together, you create new notes, new fragrances. So I want to show you Smell Like a King, which is a blend that we edited in our Intense collection.
Okay.
Okay.
So this was the latest.
This was from a couple of years ago.
Oh, this was from a couple of years ago.
Smell Like a King. So you will
spicy and woody.
Exactly.
Very masculine.
Exactly. So you might recognize the DNA from these.
Yeah. I get the...
Yes, Exactly.
I think you have the strongest on top, for some reason coming on top.
Exactly, with this one.
Yeah, not so much. You don't have this in there, right?
No.
No, yeah. Okay.
So you can see here, he's got that cedar wood, which is coming quite strong. With as the cedar wood will then phase out, you will see the cardamom more and more. And this is why it comes out so spicy.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, when you smell the cardamom moss on its own, it's very fresh spicy.
It was very fresh, yeah.
But then in combination with the cedar wood accent, it's quite like it becomes like that deep spice all of a sudden.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Wow. There's a greenness about it also.
So again, coming from that kind of, you know, absent feel.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, this is pretty intense.
This is very intense.
Yeah.
And then I want to show you the pistachio.
Okay.
The pistachio haiku, which is the one is our latest launch. Is our latest. Okay.
Oh yeah, this is yummy.
Yes. So this one you will recognize one of our essentials.
It's green. It's spicy. Very nutty. But not very gourmand.
Yes, exactly. So this one will have tonka sesame as part of it. But then it's balanced out with the fig neroli.
Okay.
Which is the green
Green,
nut. Yeah. So it kind of toned down the gourmand. That was very intense gourmand.
Yeah, it was very intense there.
And it kind of makes the fig neroli, which is a little bit very green, a little bit toned down.
Less green, yeah.
Yeah. So you're kind of creating balance when you start blending them together instead of being very straightforward towards one idea, one single olfactory idea. You're starting blending the ideas together.
Okay.
And creating new ones, obviously.
Okay. So you have a store here in London. What can people do when they come here? Can they create their own fragrances here?
Yeah.
Are they experimenting here, or do they take things from here and go to their house and experiment?
You can do everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can they? What do we have? We have a perfume organ here.
Yeah. So the perfume organ is actually this when before we started really going with this concept, I was doing one-on-one fully bespoke consultation.
Okay.
This concept is now taken over, so we are really fully kind of focusing on this, but hence that organ. This was actually a living organ in the sense of like we actually were utilizing all of these ingredients. Now we kept it just for the heritage of EPC and because this was our roots.
Yeah, it's beautiful actually. Looks great.
It's really nice, and you've got all of, you know, the fun ingredients. So ionone alpha, you know, ionone beta, helione. You've got all of the real ingredients. You've got civet, you've got oud maleki, castoreum, juniper berries. We've got, I can't remember how many ingredients we had here, but we had quite a lot. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But when you come here in London, you have a couple of consultations you can do. You can do a quick introductory consultation towards the front of the shop, or you can actually come in the alcove and have a one-on-one. Oh, wow. So the one-on-one will take you through the entire concept. You will smell the 9, then you will choose the one that you prefer, and then we will show you a few possible blends, and then you will blend them together and personalize your blend. Wow. So that's the full personalization, and it takes about an hour of consultation, and you do this with an expert from the brand.
Wow. So you can, do you book an appointment or just drop in?
Nowadays you need to book an appointment. Yeah. We're pretty busy.
What does something like that cost?
So at the minute we are at £195, so in dollars, $250.
Something like that. Okay.
And you are coming out with your own perfume. Yeah, that's
totally original perfume.
So original perfumes from our reserve blends and completely personalized. You can reorder your blend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what else do you want to? Should we try and?
Yeah, we can definitely try. We make a blend.
Yeah, can we try and make a blend?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now we're going to do the full consultation. I'm excited for this.
Mm-hmm.
Can we come up with something totally original?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay, all right.
All right. So we'll start with, of course, our 3 fresh. Okay.
Okay.
So we obviously follow the pyramid, right? So we'll start with the bergamot incense first.
So bergamot and incense together.
Yeah, in a finished formula, of course. So they're always called the kind of one of the main signature DNA ingredients, but of course they are finished perfume.
Yeah. This is bergamot and incense.
Bergamot incense, yes.
Fresh.
Yes.
Slightly smoky.
Yes.
Bit resinous, ambery.
Exactly. It's got iris in there as well. It's got vetiver, so that's why the resinous, the ambery note as well. And of course the frankincense. And with the lemon, the bergamot.
Yeah.
Very, very fresh. That kind
very
of
fresh.
thing.
Really fun.
So you can keep them here so that I need you to go back to them afterwards.
Okay, so this one is...
This one is the fig neroli.
I love this.
So that's the one that was in the pistachio haiku.
Yeah. Wow. I love the smell of figs. And this is...
This is a cardamom moss. So we've smelled it earlier. You know that very fresh, spicy, like very zingy spice?
Yeah, totally cardamom balm.
But fresh cardamom. It's not like a deep cardamom.
It's definitely not warm. It's also a bit soapy.
Yes. It's that kind of mossy note that creates that soapiness as well, and the ginger. So now we go into the mid, which are the softer notes.
Okay. Ooh.
So this is called Jasmine osmanthus. So Jasmine osmanthus, of course, is around that jasmine note with the osmanthus touch, which is that kind of almost like apricot-y flower.
It's nice. Very floral.
Very floral, very coconutty as well, very holiday-like, creamy, like vacation, like, you know.
Solar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like a vacation in a bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we have...
This is rose rhubarb.
Rose rhubarb.
Yes. So again, are those very kind of straightforward olfactory DNA.
Is it a bit fruity? Is that
that
what
rhubarb
the
note
is giving us?
Exactly, but it's more green than
green.
fruity.
Yeah, it's a green stem. Yeah,
it's a green rose for me. It's got that the sharpness. It's got cassis as well in there, the black currant. So it's got that slightly fruity, but it's always towards the green note as opposed to the sweet fruit.
Is that why they make cannabis fragrances from rhubarb?
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah.
But it's really, really green.
Yeah,
because a rhubarb is
very
more
stem.
tart green than it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting cannabis actually.
Maybe, yes. Interesting.
Oh, this is yum.
Yeah, so that's the tonka sesame that we smell earlier. So that one is really the nuttiness, the tonka, the sesame, the hazelnut.
Yeah, this is really gourmand.
Very gourmand
Very
with
delicious.
a lot of cedarwood. A lot of cedarwood Virginia that creates that not too cloying. Actually, not cloying at all.
Not cloying at all.
This one we're now in the base. So you kind of see a little bit of a drop. It's a lot
deeper.
It's a lot deeper. It's called sandalwood musk. So sandalwood musk is obviously worked around a creamy sandalwood and a white musk.
I love
so
this
it's
too.
very skin-like type of sandalwood.
So it's a skin scent.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a bit milky too. Yeah, creamy, milky.
There's sandalwood note, and there's a touch of leather as well that makes it a little bit animalic.
Okay, I didn't get the leather.
Amber iris.
So
this one, classic Oriental, I would say.
Yeah. Very amber.
Very amber, with all of the resins that you find in the amber. So, frankincense, myrrh, labdanum. It's a bomb of natural ingredients, the amber iris.
Beautiful. I love ambers.
Yeah, it's a bit classic. You could argue that amber iris is already seen or has been already smelled, but
it's a bit Shalimar-esque.
Yeah, exactly. But it has to be part of that collection, you know? And so this one, we smelled it earlier.
Oh, yeah. it's got a medicinal vibe. It's a green medicinal,
the cedarwood
almost
accent.
like what do you call those green herbal drinks that
so the absinthe.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the cedarwood absinthe that we smelled earlier. So it really
Jägermeister
has
is what I'm getting.
yeah, because it's got the aniseed, because absinthe has got this aniseed in there. And of course, we've got so much cypriol and we've got so much of this leather and the cedar atlas and the cedar Virginia. It's like, again, this one is like, you can see here, it's got fur as well. Like it's bright green.
Green, yeah.
It's super, super green. So this one is also like a natural bomb, I would say. These two are really, really quite concentrated, intense. So now
we've gone all through.
You've got the 9. And what I would like you to do is to select a minimum of 2, a maximum of 3, ideally 1 from each color of your favorite.
Okay, so we've got the amber iris.
That's one of your favorites?
Yeah.
Good. Perfect.
And then we've got tonka sesame.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was this?
The sandalwood musk. You can have 2 of the blue if you want. I'm going to show you a few possible blends, okay? So ideally 1 from each category, but if you can't make your mind up.
This is nice.
So you had the tonka sesame and the amber iris. That was your first one. Yes, perfect.
Yeah. So we have 3: amber iris, tonka sesame, and sandalwood musk.
So I'm going to show you 2 possible blends that are born from those combinations. Okay. So here we've got your 2.
Oh.
So amber iris and tonka sesame.
So this is already done.
Yes, exactly.
Yummy. Very yummy.
So that's cool. It's a blend. It's an edited blend that is part of our reserve that we called Tonka Extraordinaire. And then we have this one, which is also amazing. This is one of my favorite. This one.
Oh. So what is this combining?
So this is the sandalwood musk and the tonka sesame together.
That's great. Both of these are really good.
You'll have this one.
Musk velour.
Musk velour. So it's really the musk velour. When we combine the sandalwood musk and the tonka sesame together, we create something a bit animalic. It's like almost like a musc tonquin. So it has that kind of sweet powder, a bit animalic, because obviously in the sandalwood musk, you have to think that there is also a quite animalic note.
Yeah.
So together, it creates that kind of like musky sweet, musky powdery. So that's the musk velour. And then the first one that I showed you was the tonka extraordinaire. It was also quite a deep.
Both of these are good. Tonka extraordinaire, okay.
Yeah, the tonka extraordinaire, which is born from the amber iris and then tonka sesame straight on.
Yeah.
Let
Great combo.
me think about a third one that I can show you within this. Yes, this one. Okay. So the third one I want to show you is also based on your combination.
Oh.
So this one will have sandalwood.
That's beautiful.
In this one, it will have a touch of tonka sesame and a touch of cardamom moss.
So it's called cigarette after sex?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Getting a little Tom Ford there?
Oh, yeah, that's true. With a little, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because we don't want to have this word on Google because they might ban our. So otherwise, I would have gone all out, with a full word. But yeah, so it really has that kind of addictive.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
Really, really addictive. And it's based on the sandalwood. It's got a touch of tonka sesame. So it's not so much of like the main DNA. So the main DNA will be the sandalwood musk.
I have to be honest, I'm quite impressed. Can you show that photo once again of what you were just showing?
The cigarette after sex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this means when we look at the discovery set, it shows how much
Yes,
of it
exactly.
with the measurements.
This is what we're going to make.
So this is 35.
This is out of a bottle of 50. So this is our book that we use in the shop here. In at your home, you will have the measurement for 10.
Okay.
Because your bottle will be 10.
10, yeah. So this is 35 ml, 5 ml, and 10 ml.
Yes.
This is awesome.
Yes.
You
And this
really
is what we're going to make.
plotted this whole thing out and made
Yes.
something very, very cool.
It took a little while, but we got there.
Yeah, well, it took a while for me to understand the whole concept.
So is there anyone that you prefer that you would like to blend? We'll blend one.
Oh. I think the amber and the tonka.
The Tonka Extraordinaire.
Yeah.
We'll make it and we'll personalize it with the name. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, let's get started then.
All right. So what is this card that you're...
So this card will essentially, we will write your blend. We'll write the blend that we create today.
Okay.
So it helps you obviously to remember which formula you've chosen, which formula we've blended for you, because we're going to personalize it as well with your name. So this card will be kind of like for reorder purpose.
I see.
At home, obviously, when you've got the little kits, it's different. You can either follow one of our recommended formula if you don't want to be too experimental, or you can just do your own version. So you can follow the little book, or you can follow your own idea.
Okay.
So here we are choosing Tonka and the amber. And the ratio today is going to be 25-25. Okay, because obviously we are adapting it to your full bottle.
I see.
So here...
25 and 25 ml makes 50 ml.
Exactly. So we have...
Do you also sell these like this?
Yes. In the crystals?
Yeah.
So the crystals, they're just here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It would be really nice, but...
That's next probably, right?
That's probably next. I don't know. There's lots of next ideas. Always an idea of what we can do with EPC. Okay, so here.
Oh. Now it's getting experimental.
Now it's getting experimental. Do you want the glasses?
Should I have glasses?
You've got already glasses,
Yeah, I've got
so
glasses.
you don't necessarily need it. Usually, we actually recommend for people who don't have glasses of protection.
Okay.
It's always better, but you have already glasses. So what I would want you to do is to blend your formula. So you want to go to 25 and then finish your formula to 50. Okay.
So you have the people that are paying for the hour do this themselves?
Exactly.
So they're going to take the pipette?
Exactly, yeah.
So which one do I start with? The heavier base?
It doesn't really matter. Okay. Yeah, you kind of start with the one that you prefer.
Okay.
So it can take a little while.
So we're going to 25.
Yes.
Right now we haven't gone to 10 yet.
Yes. That's very meditative, You can focus on...
I do need a little meditation.
We all need a little bit of meditation. Yeah. This is what actually people comment on. It's really relaxing, You're kind of creating...
So I don't know if you are aware, I do Scent Club.
In San Francisco?
Yeah, we have a little sampling service for my audience. And there's a little bit of... There
we go. Take from this one. Take from this crystal. There's a bit of...
There's a little bit of mixing once in a while.
Yeah?
So I do this a little bit.
That's fun. Do you use a measuring cylinder or do you use scales?
We use a large pipette and we just fill up pre-measured bottles.
Nice. Okay.
So where are we at? We're just almost at 25, right?
Yes, exactly. So you're nearly there. A little bit, probably a couple more. Yeah, go on. You're good. Even a little bit more, even. Yeah, go on. Perfect. You're good. You got it.
Okay.
So that's the first one. That's the Amber Iris. We can put it back, yeah. And then you're going to want to finish with the tonka sesame up until 50.
Okay. So now that we're doing this, how long do you have to leave the bottle after it's
to macerate? So bear in mind that we are mixing finished perfume together. So we're not working from the concentrate. This is not the perfumery of perfumeries. This is the perfumery of users, if that makes sense. So I think you will have your real final within like a few hours to next days. You know, like really when the 2 or 3 come together. At the minute, we will smell a fresher version to what this can become in the future.
I see. Yeah. But the thing is, I've mixed fragrances and they're not really blended. So sometimes you smell them separately when you're blending 2 different fragrances.
But from 2 different brands?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because they're not created in their formula to blend together.
Okay.
And I think this is the real, well, it's not that I think like it's the real plus of the concept of EPCs, because it's not a concept. It's not a marketing concept. It's an actual formula exercise.
So I will smell it like blended.
Exactly.
Because I can separate notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, well, you can always do that in a perfume, right? You can always kind of pick out a different note. But with this one, it will blend. It's really created for that.
For blending.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So now we can decant in your bottle.
Or in a black bottle.
In a black bottle, yeah. Because it's a blend. So the black bottles are our blend. Okay. So we'll have to be very, very steady. Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This is fun. You can feel like a perfumer here.
Yeah, it's
kind of, yeah.
It's definitely what we're trying to do. We don't dumb it down, obviously, because we are an actual perfumer brand. So, I create the formula here. Downstairs, we have full lab. So we don't try to make it too marketing, dumb it down. So we try to kind of keep the vocabulary of perfumery, the concept, but of course we make it approachable, So the long form workshop no longer exists now in EPC, and is how do we create personalized and customizable perfume, but in an hour. So, like in that setup, we've kind of went quite quickly, right?
So when you pay the money, is it $250 approximately?
Approximately, yeah.
Does that include a 50 ml bottle?
Yes, exactly.
So that's a really good deal, I think.
Yeah, and you get like a 1 hour dedicated person that works with you. Yeah.
That's great.
And so you will have the tonka.
That's yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to wear this one.
Yeah, it's a great perfume. It was one of my favorite blend actually from like the last year edition. And now we have quite a few.
This is very Shalimar-esque.
Yes, exactly. Because of that amber.
Yeah.
That kind of pure amber, in a sense of like, all of the resins that you find in amber. It's very, very traditional, that vanilla and the tonka.
But it's also very modern. Shalimar does have a bit of an old smell to it.
Exactly, because it's got the bergamot, is a bit. But this one with the mix of that nuttiness and the cedar.
Yeah, this is great. Cool. Well, what are we going to call it?
You choose. That's your choice.
Amber nuts.
Amber. That's cool. Let's get printed then. Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Or should I call it Nuts for Amber?
Nuts for Amber. I like this one, no?
Nuts for Amber. Okay, let's do Nuts for Amber.
Nuts for Amber. I'm Nut for Amber. I like that. So obviously, Tonka Extraordinaire is actually one of the blends that we've edited, that we actually have available as a pre-package that our customer can find in shops or online. And then obviously, if you want to personalize it, to blend it yourself, you come here, but you will have access to so many other formulas. Yeah. So that's your principle. Online, if you want to get one of the pre-blended, pre-packaged blends, you will have a selection of 9.
9, okay.
Yeah. So including Pistachio Haiku, Smell Like a King, the Tonka Extraordinaire, which is just chosen today, and a few more of those blends. But obviously, if you want to go outside of this, you've got so many possibilities.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Okay.
Not
And the label just goes on there.
And the labels goes. Okay.
And this is a refillable bottle, so we can always order more.
Exactly.
And how much does a refill cost?
So we have refill cartridges. We have refill cartridges that you can clip, and so you kind of purchase online as well.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember how much they are.
It's okay. We can put it in.
So yeah, so that's your blend. You will have, of course, your formula card. So the formula card is quite important. So here, when you come and visit in the shop, we will always register you in our records and our ledgers. But you also have your formula card, because if you want to reorder more, then you will have your code.
Okay.
You will be able to.
Let me show everybody the name. Nuts for Amber.
This is good. I love that. So here we go.
Fun.
Yeah.
So you still haven't answered why London?
Why London? Haha. So originally,
you are French.
I'm French.
And you studied perfumery.
I studied perfumery in ISICTA in Paris.
In Paris.
And
the most famous perfume school, right?
Yes, exactly. It's at the time it was definitely, because that was 20 years ago now.
Oh wow.
So
you've been doing this for a while.
Yes, I've been in the industry for 20 years, yeah. So I worked in Paris, New York, and Barcelona before moving to here.
Okay.
So I was a little bit of I loved living in other countries. It was a little bit of my thing. And then I moved here for personal reason originally, because I wanted to move in London, and I got stuck here. and I started my business. And, you know, I think... Like London is an incredible place to do this type of concept, because Paris is quite traditional perfumery.
Makes sense.
We really want, and I really wanted to bring a concept that is completely new, and I think London is quite open to new concepts. And it's a little bit like the European New York, right? So it's got that vibe, very international. Lots of visitors, lots of curious people, curious mind, education, wanting to be creative, experimental. So I thought that it was the right place to launch. And actually, it proves right, because 8 years later, Experimental Perfume Club is, so EPC is, we're busier than ever. And it's been a really good ride.
Yeah. And so one last thing before we wrap up. Are you retailing in the States yet?
Yeah, so we are in our Shoshana at the moment. We've been so busy with them.
So you are over there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congrats. That's in DC.
That's in DC. And we are starting.
I'm sure you'll sell other places in the future. So hopefully.
We've been really successful with Zariel, and it's been really a great partnership. And obviously we have our direct online, right? Because we're also shipping from the US, from San Diego. So our direct is online is quite an easy one, and hopefully in more shops in the future.
Yes. Come to California.
Yes, please.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Well, cool. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video with Emmanuelle of Experimental Perfume Club. Make sure to visit the store if you are in London. It's such a cool neighborhood here. Yeah. Great neighborhood. There's so many great shops. It's almost like a little Paris. You've got Pierre Hermé across the street as well.
Yeah, lots of little cafes, and honestly, it's such a nice street here. We are on like the offshoot of Covent Garden. You know, Covent Garden is a very touristy, and here you've got lots of like little artisanal kind of.
It's a bit more neighborhoody here.
It's a bit more. So it's like a couple of streets. It's still part of Covent Garden, but it's a couple of streets down, and it's really, really cool. And it's great for like a little cafe and little kind of nice hidden restaurants. You should stay here afterwards.
Yeah, maybe we will. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. Bye.